Welcome everyone to an introduction to Sunpeak and our gold and base metal VMS project in Ethiopia. Disclaimer, I urge you to read and especially pay attention to the forward-looking statements, especially in light of uncertain times due to the COVID-19 crisis, ongoing crisis. So, as Eric said, Sunpeak is a private company. It was founded 4 years ago in 2016, and we've been focused on acquisition of the prospectus VMS material in the Arabian-Nubian Shield, this time on the Ethiopian side of the border, in the same geological environment as Bisha, Nelson's former mine, and the Shire Project, which was Sunridge's. Our team has 2 decades of experience in the belt within the Arabian Shield, and we've had a lot of success. We've now defined 24 what we call high priority targets on our licenses, base metal, gold and base metal VMS targets. And we conducted an initial drill program earlier this year, and we were very happy. We intercepted some of the best gold and copper intercepts drilled in the area. We now have an aggressive drill program with 3 drills beginning in September 2020, and we intend to drill 10,000 meters on the project by the end of the year. The company is well financed. We have $12 million Canadian in the bank, and as Eric said, we are private. We are working towards a public listing. Right now, we filed our long-form prospectus and 2 43-101 technical reports on CDR a couple of days ago. All the information in this presentation is available there, along with other supporting documents. So our team, Sunpeak, was founded by myself, David Dowd, and Scott Ansell. And the 3 of us have worked together for essentially over 20 years. We comprised the exploration team for Nevsun at Bisha, and we then went on to hold senior management positions with Sunridge. Our chairman is David Oram. David is co-founder of Sandstorm Gold, and we're very happy and pleased that he came on board as chairman. Our board is some very familiar names in the mining space, Steve Young, Doris Meyer, and Haley DeWitt. So this map shows where our new projects are in the red stars on the Ethiopian side of the border. The gold represents the Arabian-Nubian Shield, which is the prospective terrain that we're working in. Our former areas we worked is Bisha Mine to the north, you see on the map, and also the Shire Project. So we've essentially just moved across the border, working in the same terrain. Where we are today, we're calling it the Shire Project in Ethiopia, and moving right along. This map is a map of our current land position, about 900 square kilometers. Sunpeak's land position is in red. I'm going to use the pointer here. Oh, I don't see where the pointer option is, so I'm going to have to describe it. Sunpeak's land position is in the reddish color. Adidero, Neposit is 100% Sunpeak. The Terra and Meli licenses are part of a joint venture agreement. Okay, there's my pointer. So the Terra and Meli licenses are part of a joint venture agreement. The border with Eritrea is located in the north, and our former project, the Shire Project, where we spent the last decade, is 70 kilometers to the northeast. Now the trends come down across the border, where all these dots are high priority targets, and then they plunge underneath cover rocks in this area in Neposit, and then the zone or the area, the rocks of interest reappear on our Meli license heading west, and then they carry on onto Newmont's property to the west. These are VMS occurrences. They do occur in clusters, globally, and we feel we're seeing the same thing here. So key targets, we have many, but in light of time today, I'm going to focus on 2. One is the Meli Target, which is located in the center of the Meli license on this map, and the second one will be Anguda Target, which is located on the border of Neposit and Terra. So moving forward to Meli. Meli, we've defined a trend, a VMS trend running east-west across Meli for 10 kilometers long. In the center of the license, our partner, Izana, have drilled 75 holes and defined a gold cap down to 20 meters, and they're currently mining that. So what caught our attention is almost all of their holes were only very shallow, targeting a gold cap. However, 2 had gone below it, and they're reported 17 meters of 1.5 grams per ton copper, 1.5 grams per ton gold, and 4.2% copper. And then the second hole had a couple of intercepts with averaging 3 grams gold and around 2% copper. So that caught our attention. That's the material we're looking for. So this year, we completed our first drill program there. We did 7 holes, and all 7 intercepted very strong copper intercepts. We're very pleased, showing the zone to be open along strike and to depth. In addition, we have done a lot of work. We've done a lot of electromagnetic methods and gravity methods, and we defined numerous targets around the area. So I'm going to make a pointer on this one. Okay, so this shows the area where we did 7 drill holes in March. Here's the Meli Target. We step back and drilled underneath it. And on our 7 holes, we hit 7 out of 7. And in particular, if you look at the cross-section, you can see on our second hole, we hit 37 meters of 2.4 grams per ton gold and 2.4% copper with significant silver and zinc. On our third hole, we drilled further down dip, and again, 35 meters of 2.5 grams gold and 1.8% copper. So our initial drill program of only 7 holes showed this zone to be open to depth, and it's also open in both directions, east and west along strike. Now, allow me just to step back in time, just for one slide here. The map on the left shows the Bisha deposit. It's a map from 2003. And Bisha had a very significant Gaussian, trying to get my arrow working again. Here we are. A very significant Gaussian that poked out of the ground, where this white ellipsoid is. So as we were drilling the first holes, we commissioned a detailed ground gravity survey. And the ground gravity survey clearly defined the zone where we were drilling in the first few dozen holes very nicely. But then it also defined a second, bigger gravity anomaly, 500 meters south with absolutely no outcrop. It was flat alluvium. So in May of 2003, we moved to drill 500 meters south, drilled our hole 39, and hit 184 meters of zone. And the rest is history. Bisha went into production a few years later, very prolific. Then at Sunridge, on the Shire Project, we had a zone called Embadero, and it had a Gaussian that had been known for decades and drilled by 5 parties ahead of us. And that's what you're seeing in the magenta color here, the folded Gaussian. It wasn't very exciting, gram per ton, fairly thin. But we applied the same techniques in 2005 and defined a gravity anomaly, significant size. And in early 2006, we put our first hole into here and hit over 200 meters of massive sulfide. That became the 85 million ton resource, copper, gold, zinc, silver. The reason I'm showing this is moving forward back in time, we're seeing the exact same expression at Meli. Here's the cluster of drill holes. Most of them are very shallow that our partner did before us. We've now drilled below it and identified those gold and copper values. We've conducted ground gravity showing with the same operator that worked for us in Eritrea, and a subtle gravity anomaly going for kilometers, and then a very big gravity anomaly, similar signature to what we saw at Bisha and Embadero. On the surface, we've mapped it, and we found a series of Gaussians, the outcrop from massive or from sulfide material, and this has quickly become a very, very high priority target that we'll drill later this year. Now, just to back out a little bit more, this map shows our airborne VTEM that we conducted late last year. This is the zone here where the small mine is and our current drilling that we just announced. The VTEM identified very strong conductors with very nice signatures that look like VMS mineralization in several areas around this target. About 4 kilometers east to west. And if you follow this zone further west is where Newmont has been drilling, just off the map. And they've been having, reportedly been having success with the same mineralization, gold and copper, on the same trend. So very, very excited to drill these targets, and we're confident we can, there's areas to maybe build tonnage. Moving to the Anguda target. Second target I'll talk about quickly here. There's some previous drilling about a decade ago that intercepted a thin VMS limb. Nice values of copper and gold, but quite thin. And the widest intercept was only 3 meters on the eastern side. But it was intriguing to us. So we did a ground soil geochem survey. What you can see is we clearly defined a zone. These lines are 500 meters apart, enriched copper zone in the soils for several kilometers. And then we noticed an additional copper zone. You can see with the colors, again, parallel and another few kilometers. So the next step is we did a quick detailed gravity survey, and it defined a gravity anomaly right coincident with the high copper in the soils. We then expanded it, and here's where we are today. We've got a very strong anomalies in the copper under the soils with a strong gravity anomaly. But more importantly, we have a very strong gravity anomaly here. We call it Anguda North. It's coincident with a very strong airborne VTEM conductor. And we've been able to map out an 800-meter zone on the surface of sulfidic material. So this is an extremely high priority target that we'll be drilling later on this year when we're back at it. So we are private. We have 78.4 million shares outstanding. We are working towards going public. We have about 30% insider ownership and $12 million in the bank. So, in summary, our team has worked in this region for a long time. We've got a tremendous amount of experience, and we're seeing the same signatures we've spent the last 2 decades of our life in. We now have 900 square kilometers of, we feel, highly prospective BMS district in the same environment as Bisha and the Shire Project. Our initial drill program completed in March intercepted some of the best gold and copper intercepts to date on the project, and we are well financed for our next phase of drilling, set to begin in September, where we intend to drill 10,000 meters by the end of the year. We are working towards our public listing. We filed our preliminary prospectus on CDAR, along with our technical reports and supporting documents. I urge you to have a look and review it. Once again, there's a disclaimer. And I just want to say thank you very much, and I'm always happy to answer emails or phone calls at any time. Thank you.